Bail time. Bail time. No, just bail.
All right, good morning, Big City Rotary.
Good
morning. Yeah, I just skipped the flag. All right, so our invocation today, Danny Farley.
Father, thank you for allowing us to serve you. Please watch over us as we go through our daily routines, reminding us to live the four-way test. We pray your children suffering from the ravages of war, weather, catastrophes, and diseases will receive your comfort and protection. Thank you for providing the bounty of the food and fellowship we enjoy together each Thursday. In your name we pray.
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Of the things we think, say, and do,
Is the truth, is fair to all concerned, will it build goodwill and better friendships, will it be beneficial to all concerned.
Well, you know, I was thinking about that since the last time I've done it. It dawned on me. I think I've won a couple of zero bars over the past year. And I have not won, and we're in the 8th week. I'm doing real good.
All right, Sergeant at Arms report.
Okay, got a lot of people here, a lot of guests.
I know.
We have one visiting Rotarian. We've got Zach. Where is Zach? From Summit. Guest-wise, let's see. Emily's got Mr. Colin Lemon.
I do. So Colin, if you want to stand up. So he is with the Boy Scout Council. He's focused here in on the Greensboro area. He's been here, I guess, like you said, since January here. So he's checking out Rotary. So happy to have him here today, and hopefully you'll come back and see us again.
Sarah Sears, who's a guest up at Tom Sears. And then we have our two speakers, Benjamin and John. And then Jim Kennedy has two guests, I guess, here, Jim, Anita Bachman and Cecilia Thompson.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Cecilia approached me some time ago about coming to our meeting and taking a few minutes to talk about the 1.25% sales tax issue. So I'd like to introduce Cecilia Thompson, who is the Director of Preservation Greensboro, and Anita Bachman, who is leading that campaign.
Great. Well, good morning, everybody, and thank you for including us in your, I call your Rotary, the Early Bird Rotary. And I'm just pleased to be here. I'm Cecilia Thompson. I'm with Action Greensboro. We are supporting a number of things in terms of quality of life for economic development purposes. But something that's very timely right now is the Quarter Cent for Schools campaign that Action Greensboro and the Greensboro Partnership have endorsed, including Synergy Young Professionals. It's something that we believe is one of the most important things in terms of economic indicators for moving our community forward is supporting our public school system. Anita Bachman is here with me today, and she's our campaign coordinator. So I'm going to pass it to her just for a brief overview about what the quarter cent sales tax is and what those funds will be allocated towards.
Well, good morning to all of you. And when I told someone earlier this week that I was coming to this early morning Rotary Club, they said, that is the fun club. So, and you've lived up to that already. So, good morning to you. Thank you for having me. And I will just take a few minutes because I know you've got a busy agenda. But just to talk to you a little bit about the Quarter Cent for Sales for Schools campaign, and certainly you're going to see that on the November the 4th ballot when all of you, I know, go to vote. As we know, this is a busy time of year, and certainly a lot of important decisions that all of us will be making when we go to the polls to vote. Again, one of those is around the quarter cent sales tax, and I hope that all of you have seen the signs, have heard information, hopefully read the newspaper around where those funds are going to go, and they are going to go to our public schools. I think as we all know, for those of us who've lived in Guilford County, there are a lot of great things, good things happening in Guilford County schools. We've seen our graduation rates continue to increase over time. We've seen a number of scholarships given to our graduating seniors continue to increase. We've begun to see the achievement gap close in, certainly not where we want it to be and certainly not where Mo Green wants it to be, but it is beginning to improve. So those are good things that we want to take a minute and just celebrate. But the reality is that we know that we also have major needs and major concerns. And we have all seen over the last 5 to 6 years budget cuts. So at the state level, about $500 million in funding cuts to our public education system. And this is both our public schools, and I include charter schools in that as well. That has actually impacted Guilford County by about $48 billion, so quite significant. And when we look at what the impact of that has been, there have been things such as, and for those of you who have kids in the school system or have recently, you've probably seen this firsthand, I know that I have, over 400 full-time positions have been eliminated. And these are teaching positions, teacher assistant positions, certainly in addition to administrative positions that have been eliminated. As a result, classroom sizes have increased, and many of you, again, who have children in the school system, many of you probably have seen those classroom sizes increase. I know I've got one child still left in the public school system, 2 have already graduated, but over the course of the last several years saw classroom size grow from anywhere from 25 and 26 to 30 and 31 and 32. It makes it hard for a teacher to teach and a child to learn in that kind of environment. Textbooks. I know for me, when I was in school, I had a textbook for every single class, and I usually brought those textbooks home. Today, our kids don't always have a textbook. Many of our children are coming home with photocopies of pages of a textbook that I believe is totally unacceptable. Again, those are some of the impacts of the funding cuts that we've seen. We have been fortunate over the last several years to have been able to pass 3 school bonds. Our community citizens have voted on those, and we've seen a number of new schools built for which our children and really our county are enjoying. But the reality is that 50% of our schools are 50 years old or older, which means that maintenance is critical. And again, funding has been cut to the point where the school system's not able to take care of those schools, maintain those in the way that we should. What does all that mean? There are significant needs, and I don't know how many of you read the paper. It was dated September the 30th, so just a few weeks ago. And unfortunately, it read, North Carolina ranked worst for teachers, for education. And I read the article, and we were ranked 51st. And never did I think I would see the day that we would rank below Mississippi, but guys, we did. And I think what a tragedy for not only our children, but our educational system, but really a tragedy for our economy, because so much, as we know, is people, businesses are relocating to an area. One of the first 3 questions they ask is, what's your public school system like? So again, while we've got great things that are happening, we also have needs that must be met. How do we meet that? The county commissioners voted some months ago to place the quarter-cent sales tax on the ballot, with also the decision to have those funds go to public education. Subsequently, the Board of Education met and said, if this passes, and I'm going to say when it passes, the monies would go towards several areas. One, towards our teachers, reducing classroom size, and also towards building and maintenance. So the county commissioners have made that decision, our Board of Education has made that decision, and now it is up to us to vote yes, so that we can receive those funds. It's a quarter-cent of one little penny, and so I would ask you to consider that. I would ask you to vote yes. The results of that are about $14 million that would come back to our school system. So again, it will come directly back to them. I hope that we will see your support at the votes, at the polls on November the 4th, and I appreciate your time this morning. Thank you.
All right, so let's see, birthdays and anniversaries.
Yes, good morning. Remember birthdays, David Graves, October 15th. John Nossick, October 17th. And Guy Rondo, October 18th. For memory anniversary, Chris Justice, 6 years, October 16th. Newman, 8 years, October 12th. Hal Stansel, 15 years, October 12th. Steve Wertz, 15 years, October 12th.
Let's see, so announce, well, let's see, let's do the blue badges.
Well, you know, everybody knows when we have red badges, we go to blue badges. Well, guess what? We're going to do that this morning. And John, this gives you an opportunity. It's John, right? Your guest? Colin, excuse me. Well, that's why we have badges. So, Colin.
Just call it John.
Colin, what you're going to see today is what you get a chance to have happen to you. And we'll have your name right. All right, John Hussick, will you come up here, please? Sean Roberts, please come forward.
I remember Sean.
John, congratulations. Obtaining a blue badge. Sean, congratulations. Good job. Now let's do it 3 times. Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! Hip, hip, hooray! All right. Now let's all go out there and find another member so I can do this soon, all right?
All right. Let's see, so announcements, so pig stock, doing up pig stock.
Oh,
Chip.
wow.
Chip.
And who else was on the
That's right.
Brotherhood
The
Burn
team,
Rug team?
stand up.
Everybody stand up that was on the
Stand
team.
up.
All right. How about everybody that participated? Come on, let's go.
Everybody can stand up.
We got more than 10 tonight. Here we go. Hey, there we go. Well, hey, that's part of the team, man. In other words,
That's right.
what's part of cooking is cleaning up, Jim. What are you talking about?
Yeah, so we certainly had the most fun, I'll say that. And so we did come away with first place in beef, because thanks to Guy, that was the best beef. And we did get the People's Choice Award winner, because this is an incredibly generous club. We raised over $1,500 for children in Vietnam. The next closest club was Airport with like 850, and then, you know, dropped off from there. But we clearly set the standard for the rest of the clubs, because as I'm even walking down the stairs, someone comes running up to me and says, "How much did you raise?" I said, over 1,500. And they're like, the guy says, "We're gonna raise 4,000 next week."
All right.
I'm like, great, it's a fundraiser. $1,000. I'm like, that's great.
Yeah. So we had a great time. We had a great time. We had a lot of people. We had a lot of, we by far and away had the best turnout. Of course, half the turnout was our team, I think, when it started raining. But when the judges came to judge the beef, Guy and I had sort of colluded. I did the cooking, but Guy did the purchasing. We barbecued a Black Angus beef tenderloin. And I will not tell you what 8 pounds of that cost. But I can tell you this, it did not make it off the cutting board into a serving dish. Okay, it was gone. The judges got theirs, and it was like piranha or something. I don't know. Anyway, we have definitely, they'll be gunning for us next year. So we did a great job. I want to thank everybody who donated, everybody who came and helped, everybody who showed up. And we did get a phone call. I got a phone call wanting to know if we had made enough money to save Bernie, which is Sean's pet pig. And the lady that called had to put her dog down that morning. And she came out there and she paid $5 to hold Bernie. She got her $5 worth. She held him for a long time. But she called me to ask if, it's my brother's sister-in-law, she called me to ask if we had saved Bernie or not. She just wanted to be sure. So anyway, so we saved Bernie. He can come back and help us next year.
He will.
Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you all very, very much. So I'm sure Dan will tell us hopefully next week how much the event raised overall, but think he's having fun in Disney in Florida this week. So fundraiser. So I know we got Steve, we got Dale. So Dale, you want to go first?
On what?
Okay.
Oh, you're looking at me.
Dale, aren't you ready?
Yeah, Dale, what's going on, man?
It's all good.
I'm in charge of decorations, and I could use a little help, at least 4 people. We could get it done in probably half an hour. And I'm not gonna give away all the things that we're gonna do, but I would appreciate 4, even 5 volunteers so we can get quick work done and get on to getting ready for the event that night.
So you need people the day of the event. When do you need people?
That morning,
That
actually,
morning, okay.
so that we can set up.
Okay.
Pick up and set up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is that part of the, Dale, is that part of the sign-up, Gene, that Dan sent out, do you know?
It is
What?
not for, it starts at like 4.
No.
So I'm not quite as attractive, but I'm filling in for Erica this morning. If you've already, placed your ticket order online, that's great. If you've already committed to it, if you already have your ticket, that's great. If you're part of the sponsored packet, that's great. If you need more tickets, or if you have not yet committed to your tickets, please see me. We need to get those names down. You don't have to have money today, but I need to tell her who needs more tickets for the event. These are separate from the raffle tickets, by the way. Raffle tickets don't get you in, right? Right. Is that right?
No, right.
Yeah, okay. So, my most enthusiastic pitch for your tickets this morning. You have your ticket this morning. Come see me. Is that good? Come see me if you need commitment for your ticket so that Erica can get it to you. Thank you.
Raffle?
Yeah, I just wanted to agree that Steve is not as attractive as Erica. All right, so raffle ticket sales. Guys, you're doing awesome. 2 weeks? 2 weeks ago? Yeah, 2 weeks ago. So that's all I have left in my hands. That's it. I mean, this stack keeps shrinking, which is great, but this represents about $5,000 to the club, guys. So if you have the ability to sell more, please sell them. The online thing, does anybody not understand? Does anybody understand the online sales? But let me give you just a quick tip on how to do that. The posting on Facebook is great for awareness, but you're not going to sell it if you just post them on Facebook. You need to send specific emails to people that you think will buy them and attach that link, okay? So it is a little bit of extra, to do, but it's super easy. I will fulfill the orders. Once you send that link, you don't need to do anything else. If they buy it online, I'll fulfill the order, all right? So just say that in the email. The order form on SquareUp is super easy to use. I've gotten, 10 orders or so off of it, but I know we can get more if you guys do direct ask on email, all right? So post away on Facebook, but I promise you're not going to sell them that way. All that's going to do is spread awareness, which is great, but then you can follow up with specific emails, all right?
Chris, how do you give credit for the sales that were done?
So far, none of them have been a mystery. A lot of people in the comments, there's a comment section whenever the people order. If you want to instruct them just to put your name for credit, that's fine. If an order comes through that does not have a specific member, I've known all 10 of them, but if any of them if any of them come through to me and I don't know who it is, I'm just going to send the name out to the club and you guys can respond to me and let me know who ordered them.
I have family all over the country. What if they win this thing?
All right, great question. So what?
Not included.
Yeah. So what Dan has said is that the person can win, and he will ship the items beyond 90 miles. He will install up to 90 miles from Greensboro. Okay, so he'll still do the professional installation up to 90 miles from Greensboro, but if it's beyond 90 miles, then he'll ship all the parts.
There you go.
All right, Kelly. I think we have one more piece of business with the raffle. Kelly made an amazingly generous offer last week. If you took 10 more tickets to sell last week, then he put you in this just incredible drawing. Kelly, can you just tell what the package is real quick?
Yeah, it's a grand over ultimate getaway for 2 couples, a night stay in one of our bi-level French or Spanish suites with dinner for 4, spa for 4, golf for 4, at a time of your choosing as long as we have availability. So it's about a $3,000 value or so.
Yeah.
So how many people got in it?
We got, let me see, we got quite a few in there. Ralph's in there, Sarah's in there, Hal, Rob, Cooper, Dennis, Darlene, Guy, Chip Person, and Steve Wirtz are all in the drawing. And I promise guys, all your names are in here. So.
And I just got to say, I personally witnessed last night Ralph Jones sell 20 tickets.
Ralph's a beast.
I personally saw him do it.
As a bunch of guys drinking, it was pretty.
Don't tell your secret.
Hey, Chris.
All right.
Chris.
Yeah.
I took 10 more.
Yeah, you're here.
You didn't say bus.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't say well, did you take 10 more buses? All right, well.
He did.
I did. I got them right here.
Don't worry about it.
Trust us, you didn't sold it. Don't worry about it.
I just took them. I just got them.
You just took them.
Yeah.
Oh, you just.
I was told it had to be last week.
He wasn't here last
Well,
week.
Would you like a round? That's fair.
The deal was last week.
Okay. All right. That's all right. That's all right.
Put him in.
All right.
Is it fair to all concerned?
Yeah.
But if you win, it doesn't count.
Buster, if you win this,
I'll win. It's going to be two.
you and I both win that. If Buster wins, we're going to protest over here.
That's all right.
All right, they're all mixed up. Cecilia, will you do the honors for me?
I wasn't here last week.
I hope it's Buster, I hope you win.
I do too.
Buster, you better not win. I don't even think she's here today. Sarah wins it.
Oh, yeah.
Sarah!
That's right.
It really was Buster. He just said so.
Fine
Did you want to say
print.
something, Rob? Wait, earlier you were like.
Oh, I had a question actually for the event. What's the attire? My wife has asked me that like 8 times.
Dressy.
I don't know, we're paying $90 a ticket, I'm assuming we're dressing up. So.
My wife said
Shirt and shoes required.
no flip-flops.
No flip-flops.
Not for me, for her.
All right, so we're running behind here, so we got football pool and we got $50, so let's.
Real quick before vote, Hal Stansel was admitted to the hospital yesterday for diverticulitis, so if we could give him that in our thoughts.
All right, football pool.
Real quick, Dorothy, you have.
I've been waiting.
Did you know it already?
I figured it.
9 out of 23.
Wow.
That's all right. That's not the worst yet. I think Bobby's going to keep the record for that one for a while. Let's see, Dale, Cooper, Erica, and Tom, stand up.
Were you in the football pool? I wasn't in the pool, so it's not me. So it must be you.
Yeah. Well, these were the people that were smart enough to pick my Cowboys over the Seahawks last year. Now, you didn't win. Okay, toward the top, we have
As a mention.
Hal, Guy, and James all picked
About the
17 out
honor.
of 23, which is pretty good. James won the tiebreaker. They all picked OU. He was closest on points, but he's not here, I don't think. So what you guys get to see is second place. Sorry, Guy. One dentist handed another dentist a candy bar. Do not see this very often. First place with a new season high for the year, 19 out of 23 correct, was Howard. And, personal financial organizer donated by Steve. And there's a coffee cup so you can, sip while you're going through the book. I'm sure he would help you go through that. Congratulations, the on the table filling up.
I did want to highlight. Howard was the lucky recipient of the beautiful Rotary brooch this morning, and he's rocking that. So again,
You need to celebrate this out together.
yes, you want to stand up and model it quickly so people can see. So.
Very nice. Brings up your house.
Yeah, Danny brings a really good point. That's what you need to be there.
Foundation banquet?
So you want to say something quickly? I mean, we got to
Yeah,
get it in.
no, Foundation banquet. We've got, what, about 9 or so that have signed up for it.
Airport, I just got their list yesterday, they got 25. So we ate their lunch at Pig Stop, but they're doing it for the foundation banquet. So please sign up. It's at the Core Convention Center. Great spot, great speaker, John Germ, who will be a future president of Rotary International. So I know many of you, it's easy to get there, so please do sign up. We need to do it soon.
Yep, I need to send the names in tomorrow.
Right.
So I'll send out the link one more time, but yeah, I think we still have 9 people, so we'd like to get more than that. All right, Happy Dollars, really quickly.
All right, Happy Dollars. All right, that's it. All right, here.
Okay, thank you to Buster for 150 boxes of envelopes. If anybody needs envelopes.
150? You didn't get 150. Did you?
However many boxes, it looks like 150, whatever.
When'd you get them?
Okay.
The other day.
Oh, well, good job. Cooper T.
Well, I'd like to thank Buster too for shopping Trotter Brothers. He allowed us to do some floor coverage last week.
Hey, y'all should all come by and see our new conference room that looks lovely thanks to Cooper and his parking lot. And my parking lot looks lovely too. Drunken sailors spending money.
Wow, that's
Okay.
happy.
Well, Grandpappy, we saw this story the other day where they were going to do a remake of the 1999 classic Independence Day, and Grandpappy said, I don't think that's going to be that scary. He said, with everything going on in the world today, an alien invasion is about the 5th worst thing that can happen.
All right, so Tom Sears is going to introduce our speakers.
We're, as you know, busy today. We're doing a lot of things from education of current days to education of old. Benjamin Briggs and John Graham are here today and going to be talking with us. Sarah's here as a board member from Preservation Greensboro. For Sarah to get up this early in the morning is a big deal. I can assure you. Governor Moorhead, who they're going to be talking about, was extremely important in the education world, and they're going to be talking about that. And Benjamin is a native of High Point, has been here since '03. He graduated from NC State, for you people from down in Raleigh, with a degree in architecture and sociology, and he has a master's in historic preservation from Boston University. John is a native of Gastonia, graduated over at school in Winston-Salem, I think they call it Wake Forest, and has been both involved in investment brokerage, but has more lately been involved as deputy director of the Guilford Child Development, along with Robin Britt, for those who know what Robin did over the years. And he we're very proud to have him as part of Preservation Greensboro. Greensboro has done an incredible job over the last 70, 80 years of destroying almost all the architecture that we've had. We've done probably the best job of destroying it of any town in North Carolina, unfortunately. And those of us who are interested in historic preservation, it's sad. So they're going to be talking about it. They have been working on, and we, as a lot of us have been involved with it in different ways. So I'd like to welcome both of y'all. Thank you.
Well, thanks, and I'm going to get John Graham to click or advance my PowerPoint. But my dad is from High Point, my mom is from Pittsburgh, so I have 2 gears, real fast with Pittsburgh and real slow with North Carolina. So I'm going to do mom speed today. Get you 48 years of history in 10 minutes. But Preservation Greensboro was established in 1966. It was organized by citizens, you can advance it, organized by citizens who wanted to save historic buildings here in Greensboro. The first building that they acquired was Blandwood Mansion and Washington Street. It took them several years to get that restored, and since then we branched out into multiple other ways of being involved with the community through tours of historic homes, recognizing the significance of Blandwood Mansion, and recycling and revitalizing buildings. Next slide. So what are we about? We're about environment, recycling, sustainability. These are important to all of us now with our landfills filling up. It's about being smart about how we grow in our city limits. It's about history. Greensboro is different from every other city, and it's different in good ways, and we want to encourage that. We don't want to lose the history. That's what makes us special. Economic development, historic preservation is about dollars, investing in our downtown, investing in our core neighborhoods. Imagine if we did not have investment in our downtown, where our property taxes would be, they'd be upside down. So it's important in that way. And it's about community vitality. Think of going, walking through Fisher Park. Think of the activities in College Hill, the young students there. Think about the activities downtown. It's all part of our vitality of our whole community. Preservation is in Greensboro. You know, Tom mentioned that we've lost a lot of our buildings, but we're doing really well now. We're in the news a great deal with buildings that we're restoring. We're getting on TV with historic preservation, and we're being recognized in the business community. Next slide. We have a great agenda. I mentioned earlier about investment downtown. You see here a picture of the Southeastern building, a $10 million investment downtown at Market and Elm. We have walking tours that recognize our downtown architecture, and we're working a great deal with Revolution Mill, which is over a $100 million investment in the northeastern part of the city. All of that is historic preservation. All of it contributes to our community and the strength. Next slide. One of our programs is architectural salvage. This is where we actually pull out architectural features that are recyclable, keep them out of the landfill, historic windows, doors, mantels, heart of pine flooring, those architectural details that you might want in your house to make your house look a little cool. It's a lot of HGTV programs now about reusing architectural features to make your home cool. Next slide. And here you get an idea. Even doorknobs, you think, well, what do I need a doorknob for? But that can be a coat hook. Some people actually like those big, deep bathtubs, and I'm saying that sarcastically because I like the big, deep bathtubs. So we got lots of big, deep bathtubs if you like that. Our tour of historic homes is held every May. May is National Historic Preservation Month. So far, we've been in the Fisher Park neighborhood in Acock. We've been in the Sunset Hills neighborhood. We've been in College Hill 2 years ago. This past year, we were in Westerwood. And what we're gearing up, next slide, is to be in Hamilton Lakes in 2015, which will be May. So we already have some great houses lined up. We're going to blend about 3 or 4 historic homes from the 1920s with a couple of mid-century modern homes. We've already got a couple of them lined up for the tour. So this is going to be a great event centered on Lake Hamilton. We had a planning meeting last night. We're planning to have a village fair with lots of locally made crafts, and we'll have food trucks. So schedule your calendars, keep an eye out for May of 2015 for Hamilton Lakes Tour of Historic Homes. And one of the things that we like to do is just have cool people in cool places. I mentioned we just had an event at Revolution Mill, northeast of town. We got a sneak peek tour of some of the apartments that they're building in Revolution, and they're going to be really awesome. No other place in Green. They're like bi-level apartments overlooking Buffalo Creek, and all in historic buildings with brick walls. So if you like cool folks and landmark places, we're the group for you. We try to have fun with what we do. These are some of the activities this coming Saturday. If you're interested in learning more about downtown Greensboro, especially from the Green Bean South, show up at the Green Bean this Saturday, 10 a.m. It's a free tour. Ryan Gray is our tour guide. He'll be giving the tour. On that evening at Blandwood, we have ghost stories. Cynthia Moore Brown is giving us ghost stories in the West Parlor. They are kid friendly, but we got a lot of adults that like to hear ghost stories in Blandwood. You know, where else can you hear about ghost stories in an 1840s parlor where so much of North Carolina history happened? That's a $5 event. We got a silent auction at Market Square on Tuesday next week. If you've ever not been to Furniture Market and you'd like to come poke your head in and maybe bid on a few really cool items, we have people donating items for our bid, but that'll be a lot of fun. And then another walking tour the following Saturday for downtown north of the Green Bean. And just hit the right arrow. There you go. So Moorhead, Governor Moorhead, John Molly Moorhead, 1840, 2 terms to 1844. His home was Blandwood Mansion. So we're branding now Governor Moorhead's mansion, Blandwood, as a place to come and learn about life in North Carolina, learn about this influential governor that did so much for education, transportation, architecture and design, and industrial economic development. and those are all still relevant issues today. Museums open to the public. It's our only National Historic Landmark building. We get people from all over the world that come to this site. It's sort of our icon that people like to visit when they, and can visit when they visit Greensboro. Next slide. And there you go. So any guesses on where the original floor plans for Blandwood are located? I'll speed everything up and I'll say they're at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York City. So A.J. Davis, the New York architect, is the one who designed Blandwood for Governor Moorhead. Moorhead was making a fashion statement when he did this, and so that's where the original plans are. And of course, we're constantly taking care of Blandwood, and window restoration is something, and I'm going to pass the baton over to John Graham, who's going to talk a little bit about our community engagement and a Moorhead Forum, which is based on those 4 pillars that Governor Moorhead started with his governorship. So.
Well, I guess you could kind of say Governor Moorhead was the first economic development governor. Most people in Greensboro have no clue of all the things that he did. But when Anita Bachman was up here talking about the quarter-cent tax, all I could think of was Governor Moorhead would be right behind her, because he was the first governor to push for public education. He was the first governor to push for educating women. And he actually introduced legislation that would educate slaves at the time. It didn't pass, but it shows you the forward-thinking nature of a man who was really ahead of his time. He brought the world's foremost expert on mental health to North Carolina, Dorothea Dix. She met with him here at Blandwood Mansion. They had many talks, and eventually we had the state mental institution known as Dorothea Dix. Many of you know the story of Moorhead being the first president of the railroad, but for anyone in here that went to UNC Chapel Hill, he founded and was the first president of the UNC Alumni Association. So all of this happened in Greensboro. Looking for something that would expand the name of Moorhead, we founded last year, in fact the 29th of this month will be 1 year ago, we had the living former governors come to Blandwood and to all celebrate the kickoff of the Governor Moorhead Forum for Economic Development, which is based on 4 pillars: transportation, education, manufacturing, and then architecture/preservation, because Moorhead brought the rock star architect of his day to Greensboro, brought him to North Carolina. And that same architect that Benjamin was talking about, who designed and built Blandwood, the front portion of it that was added in the 1840s, he was prolific in North Carolina, but he also designed the Customs House in Manhattan, which is known today as the Federal Building. He also laid out and designed Davidson College. He also redid Old East and Old West dormitories for the plans, the 4 plans, to really modernize them way back then. So there are many connections to Greensboro about Moorhead that people have no idea about. So what we are trying to do is to expand this, and we will ask each one of you, and I think the brochures were passed out there, to help support us. If you're not a member, join, because we receive no state and no federal funding. So if you think it's just some state museum sitting downtown, you pass it and you look at it, it's not. We own it. Everyone here in Greensboro owns that mansion. If you will help us, we would certainly appreciate it. We've had a lot of community interest. We just had the lawn in the past week aerated and seeded for the first time in 15 years. Sherwin-Williams has agreed to donate all of the paint for the exterior of Blandwood. We've still got to raise money to paint the place, but we already have that gift. And when you say, well, okay, they're going to provide the paint. Paint for preservation is $60 a gallon, so that is a huge gift. Also, we have the community really reaching out. Mayor Vaughn has said she will make all major economic development announcements from the west parlor of Blandwood. Benjamin touched on the fact that the west parlor is probably the most important room, if not in the state, at least in Greensboro. That's where North Carolina surrendered to the Union, in the west parlor. That's where the railroad was founded. That's where Governor Moorhead met with Dorothea Dix. That's most likely where the UNC Alumni Association was founded. Many things have happened here, and Benjamin likes to say that history still happens at Blandwood, and it does. To give you an idea, we've had, with the former governors, they've all been very helpful in saying we'll do whatever we can do to continue this effort. Luther Hodges Jr. has been involved with us. His father created the Governor Moorhead Memorial Commission back in 1959, and you know, we've reached out to these people that have helped us in the past, and they've been more than helpful for us. Coming together in the next year with the Governor Moorhead Forum for Economic Development, we are in touch with some pretty big hitters coming to Greensboro. Now, we had planned to have a transportation summit this past summer, and our problem came about with the U.S. Secretary of Transportation totally changing his schedule, and we have postponed that until 2015. But there are going to be some big things that go on here in Greensboro, and the only way you're going to know about them ahead of time is to join Preservation Greensboro. So if you have that brochure on the table, it has an application form, and you can certainly send the checks, or if you want to write them right now, you can go ahead and I'll pick them up. But this is important, and we couldn't exist without your help. So I would just like to say that, and to reiterate it, no state, no federal funding. So when you pass that house, you know that, you know, if you don't help us, we're not going to be moving as fast as we'd like to. So I just think that that is one of the big things the community needs to embrace. And Benjamin and I have been speaking to these civic clubs across the region, and we would just appreciate this club getting behind us, and we'd love to see every name from this club be a member. So thank you for letting us speak.
So just a few more slides just to round that out. Here you can see Howard Coble in the parlor at Blandwood getting his jacket, his coat of many colors. You can see the governors all lined up with Dale Metz. Many of you probably know Dale Metz, who plays Governor Moorhead. Next slide. It's on the far right side. There you go. Perfect. So one other item that we have that's a service to the community is our development fund. Development fund is sort of a think tank of real estate, construction, architectural experts that try to take care of the one-eyed cats and the three-legged dogs of the old building world. So if it's a building that is vacant, run down, for some reason it's not preserved, we like to go in there and try to give it the help that we can. We've moved buildings, we've saved buildings in College Hill. Here you can see sort of the family picture of the bungalows and the farmhouses and buildings in College Hill that we've been able to preserve. Next slide. And just this is one that we moved from near the jail to Cedar Street before, during the move, and after in front of Carolina Bank. Next slide. Here you can see 910 Magnolia Street that we're really proud of in the Fisher Park neighborhood. This was a building that a family had owned, and they just couldn't get through legal channels to get it sold, and we helped them, and now it's one of the prettiest houses in all of Fisher Park. And it could have ended up in the landfill. It is actually under demolition order by the city. These are 3 buildings that we have for sale in the Glenwood neighborhood. If you're interested in buying in Glenwood, come up and talk to me afterwards. Next slide. And these are buildings. The Cascade Saloon is sort of on the press this summer. We're so close to making an announcement on that that'll be very exciting, energetic, be a great addition to downtown Greensboro. We're very excited about the possibilities there. And 919 Spring Garden in the College Hill neighborhood, a very fine 4-square house built in 1905 that we kept from being demolished and thrown into our landfill. Judge Stone is restoring that house, and we're real pleased with that. So Thank you for your attention. My Pittsburgh mom, you can thank her for me talking so fast. I didn't talk too fast. But thank you so much for inviting me tonight, and I hope that you'll join Preservation Greensboro. Thanks.
We have a couple minutes. Does anyone have any questions?
Try to answer them if you have any.
Years ago, I attended, it was a fundraiser thing, would you still have that facility?
We have, yeah, we actually have a carriage house, which is an octagonal building built in the 1870s. It's sort of like a garden pavilion behind Blandwood. It is for rent. We have lots of weddings, meetings, office meetings during the week. So if you're interested, check out our website for prices, or just give us a call. Contact information on the membership brochure. Any other questions about it? Thanks so much.
Okay. Well, in your honor, we're going to donate a book to Karen Elementary for being our speaker here today. Let's see, raffle. Who's got the?
They're behind you. Behind you. Emily.
Back there.
Back there.
All right. Pick out one of these tickets and read the last three numbers. 348.
All right, shut.
All right, so don't forget the cart buckets on your table. And everybody have a wonderful day and sign up for the Rotary Foundation dinner, please.